Colin, the first
Yeah.
inaugural podcast, the Rec Room podcast. It's great to have you on, and great to be here with you. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing this with you. You and I have been talking about this for quite some time now, and we're finally getting it going. So, yeah, very exciting, and yeah, looking forward to what the future has to hold with this podcast. So, maybe maybe we can just give a few introductions between us. Let the people know who we are and what we do. Obviously, you're in front of the camera a lot more than I am. So perhaps you can give yourself a quick introduction to everybody, and then I'll do the same.
So for everyone that doesn't know me, thank you, Andy. My name is Colin Fletcher. I'm born and bred in the Eastern Cape, and I've been hunting since I could walk, pretty much. I started East Cape Hunting, which is where most of you probably know me from, as well as my media company, about 5 years ago. And I've had some incredible experiences around the world, hunting and filming and just exploring my passion. We're based on a farm here in the Eastern Cape. And yeah, flip and dive for hunting, live and breathe. And Annie and I have been partnered up with Hunter and Hound for the last couple of years, and we've had an incredible journey together. We've had some incredible, collaborations, and we've got some cool stories to tell as well. So I'm glad you guys have joined us on the podcast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you say, you and I started about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I started Hunter and
Yeah.
Hound. So Hunter and Hound is it started as a bit of a mixed band of different things. We had a bit of hunting in there. We had some gun dog training. We were doing equipment. We were doing clothing. And I think over the last couple of years, we've found our niche more as a lifestyle company, where the clothing side of the business has really taken off, and people really enjoy the apparel that we're putting out there. So yeah, I'm the co-founder of Hunter and Hound. I've got another partner who stays in the background. He's not so keen on getting in front of the camera. I did try my very best to get him on board, but he decided no, he'd rather stay on the other side of the camera. So yeah, it's great to be a part of the show, I must be honest. And like we say, we've been talking about this back and forth for quite some time now. We've finally sat down to get this thing going. So it's going to be a good journey. We've got some really exciting guests coming up as well, who we've reached out to, and people are reaching out to us as well. And it's going to be a good journey. And I think if we talk about how or why we started this thing, and for me personally, it was really about engaging with people from different backgrounds who love hunting. I'm nowhere near as let's say experienced as yourself, Colin. You almost do this for a living. I'm more of a recreational hunter than anything else, and so you certainly have a lot more experience in the field than I do. But yeah, for me, it was about understanding and really engaging with people from different spheres of the world, and their different experiences in the countries that they're hunting in. And yeah, it's exciting. The guys who have decided and opted and will be coming onto the show to talk about their backgrounds and talk about the way they hunt in the various different regions of the world. And we're looking forward to that for sure.
No, 100%. I mean, we've got such a diverse community that is revolving around hunting, and to be able to tap into people and people's stories and their experiences. And I think the podcast is going to be such a valuable platform to share people's stories and why they do what they do. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so glad that we've partnered up for this. And as you say, we've got some incredible guests lined up, and super keen to get chatting to them.
Absolutely, and I know you can't talk too much about it, but I believe that you've just come back from quite a interesting trip somewhere in the heart of Africa. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, Colin. I think, if I stand to correction, Central African Republic of all places.
That is true. That is true. So when you say the heart of Africa, we say the deepest, darkest depths of Africa. It was quite an experience. So about halfway through December, a client reached out to me and said, listen, I've got a trip planned, a once in a lifetime trip to the Central African Republic. And in all honesty, I had to Google where that was because I had no idea. All I knew that it was in between the Sahara and Congo. That's about it. So I went in pretty blind. It was an incredible trip, long trip. We flew from Port Elizabeth to Johannesburg, Johannesburg to Ethiopia, and then straight into Bangui in Central African Republic. Bangui is the capital, and we were met quite unwelcomely with a lot of AK-47s and a lot of mounted machine guns, as well as a crazy airport. But yeah, once we got through there, we spent a day or two in the city, which was eye-opening. It really makes you appreciate what we have here in South Africa. I think in comparison to Bangui, South Africa could well be a first world country. It's incredible. And yeah, we spent a few days in the city before heading out to the concession area. Also wild. Middle of nowhere. I think it was about a 900-kilometer charter plane out from Bangui to the concession area along the Vovodo River. And we grafted hard, eh? Long, long hours for a good 3 weeks. But yeah, it was an incredible experience. I mean, we'll have that content coming out on YouTube and Instagram in the next couple of weeks. So super excited for you guys to see that.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly looking forward to hearing more about it. Even though you and I are doing this podcast together, you've honoured your agreement with your client and told me that I'm not allowed to know too much about it. So, yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to hearing about that one, because I haven't been to CAR, but I have been to Brazzaville before, and
Okay.
that was many moons ago. I can only imagine it's of a similar kind of atmosphere. Also arrived and greeted with a lot of AK-47s and guns. We were doing some work up there with the UN, so yeah, it was an eye-opening experience for sure. Yeah, that was a different world altogether. But yeah, really super excited to hear more about that trip for sure. Absolutely. And obviously, the hunting season is it's coming upon us thick and fast.
It is. It is.
Um, the weather's slowly starting to change, which is cool, and I'm excited. I've got some trips lined up this year, so yeah, really excited to get out there. Feels like forever since we went out into the field, and yeah, personally, I'm not a trophy hunter. I hunt for fun and for biltong and meat and what have you throughout the year. But it's always great getting out there. I love it.
No,
And,
it's excellent. Yeah, no, I mean, flip.
so in terms of your preparation to go up to somewhere like that, I mean, since you've never been there, and I guess you don't really know what to expect. What's kind of the prep work that goes behind that? I assume that they just kind of tell you where you're going, and then you get on a plane and you go there. But perhaps it's a little bit more complicated than that.
No, listen, you're not far off. So we heard about where we're going, and instantly, as I said, I hopped onto Google to find out where it was. And with that Google search came a lot of warning, especially from the American embassy. I know the first page that came up was headlined, "Tourists are warned against going to CAR." So yeah, that was quite an eye opener, and that led to a lot of investigation and preparation. Luckily, I've got a mate close by, Rob Reed. He works for African Parks in all of those countries. He's been doing it for 20 something years. He'd actually be a great guy to get onto the podcast. And he put me in contact with a few good people. We gave them details of where we were going, the time frame we were going, and who we were going with. And he reassured us that it should be safe. He sort of compared it to, you
Should
look
be.
in the cities of South Africa. Yeah, should be. So I mean, you look at cities in South Africa. So you look at Cape Town, so you look at Stellenbosch, and then you got the Cape Flats. And lots of places are generalized. So use the example of Cape Town. Stellenbosch versus the Cape Flats. Stellenbosch is a lot safer than the Cape Flats, but all the statistics are based off a place like the Cape Flats. So he said to me, listen, he used that example and said there are really, really safe places in CAR, in Bangui. It's just based off of the bad places. So that reassured me a lot. Definitely did pack a couple of supplies just in case things went south. But yeah, we were all good. I mean, apart from a couple of hair-raising military police stops, it went smoothly, yeah.
And in terms of the wildlife up there, I mean, what are we looking at? Are we looking at your kind of stock standard African animals, or is there quite a few different exotics that roam around there? What's the landscape like? I mean, is it days and days of long walking, or are you mostly on the back of a vehicle? How does it work?
It's quite diverse, actually. So the landscape itself actually opened my eyes a lot. What you just look at when you're flying over in the charter plane is you've got spans of savanna, And interwoven between the savannas are what they call finger forests. So from the plain, it's narrow forest systems that run through the savannas. And what we found when we got down there, the savannas are very much like Namibia. It reminded me a lot of Namibia. I've hunted quite a bit there. And the rocky terrain and the sparse grass and, the vegetation in the savannas, very much like Namibia. And then the forest, the finger forest, is very similar to the Albany bush that we have here. It's just on a greater scale. So you go there and it's rainforest, absolutely to a T. The trees are sky high, the canopy is 30 meters above your head, and beneath you is swamp and thick vegetation. And
Hot and
the
and
game,
humid and
no,
lots of
hot and humid.
mosquitoes.
Yeah, and tsetse flies and bees. My goodness. So for 3 weeks, I think it got to about 42 degrees every day at least, and 30 degrees at night. And I was told not to pack a single pair of shorts. So I wore long pants and long sleeves for 3 weeks in that heat. And I suppose you've got to, because you've got three things that'll hurt you: the mosquito, the wild bees, and the tsetse flies. The one day I counted 30 tsetse flies on the back of one of our trackers. So we had head nets, luckily. But it is insane. Everything seems to want to kill you there. So yeah, it was crazy. And then in terms of game, you're looking at some incredible species. I mean, the one that people go there for is bongo. I don't know if you know what a bongo is.
I've seen one in a magazine, but I've
Yeah.
never seen one in real life. That's for sure.
No, my mate, they're incredible. So it's like, for those of you who don't know, please just Google it. It looks like a big Nyala female with pushback horns, but the size of an eland. They can get up to 400 kilos, if I'm not mistaken. And their horns up to 37 inches with mass, like 12-inch mass. It's incredible. And those things, they've got the demeanor of a bushback, I tell you what. Those things have killed many dogs, many hunters. We even heard a story of one that killed a lion. So they're vicious. They will come at you with your horns. And I know one hunter, it must have been 20 years back, they were telling the story around the campfire. He actually went to a wounded bongo that had been bayed by their blood dogs, and it hit him with its nose and broke two ribs with its nose. So they are crazy. And then in the forests, you get giant forest hog, which looks like an American wild boar with massive big warts on the sides of its head. Those things can weigh up to 160 kilos, sometimes even more. You've got the red river hog, which is very much like a bush pig, except you see them in numbers and you see them during the day. The ears are a little bit longer, and in the sun, they look like a shiny red, actually fairly pretty for a pig. And then you've got your Chobe bushbuck, your harness bushbuck. The Chobies are normally down south. In the area that we were hunting was the harness bushbuck. Absolutely incredible. They've got this flippin' beautiful harness that runs along the bottom of their stomach. And they don't get much longer than 13 and a half, 14 inches, which for us is an average bushbuck. So it's nice to compare the two. And then a whole bunch of duikers, different varieties of duikers. You got your redback, your yellowback duiker, red flank, yellowback, Waynes, and I think it's Western Bush. So yeah, incredible variety of species up there.
Sure. No, that sounds amazing. And in terms of the actual, hunting itself, is it are they put into kind of concessions? Are they given concessions to hunt on, or is it, I'm I guess this is me showing that I'm not particularly a well traveled hunter, but I'm used to going to a game farm where the guy owns the ranch or the farm, and he's
Yes.
the farmer, and you go there and they've got select amount of species, but it's within a it's within a perimeter. What's it like up there? Is it concessions that people are basically renting, and then you go and hunt those concessions? And if so, are they very, very vast, and you spend a long time looking for game, or are they quite densely populated with game?
So it's interesting. It's very much like what I experienced in Tanzania. So there are concession blocks that get auctioned off every 20 odd years or whatever it is. So the guys will buy a fixed period lease on auction of the block, and then they've got the rights to that lease for that period of time. So the concession we hunted on, if I'm not mistaken, it was 1.4 million acres. So you do the math, 700,000 plus hectares. Incredible and
Yeah,
vast.
no,
I mean,
that's massive. Yeah.
They've explored, if I'm not mistaken, they've explored between 17 and 19% of that concession on foot. The rest they've only seen via microlight. It's
Wow.
incredible. And I mean,
That's massive.
you look at the game densities and it's low. It's low. You drive a whole morning and you don't see a thing. So what we do is, wake up 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning by, an hour before sunrise, and you head out to your main area and just start walking. Yeah. You walk and
In the
walk
hope that you find something. So I guess
in
you're
the
not
hope that
really
you find
going
some.
there. You're not really going there with a shopping list. You're going there with an empty cart and hope that you manage to find something along the way.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways of targeting certain species. So for the hogs, you look in the forest areas, you look in the salines. So saline, I think saline is a French word, which basically translates to salt lick. So it's natural mineral spots within the forests where the guys actually will put salt out to feed the animals in the dry season. So they obviously need their nutrients. And the animals will be attracted to there in the dry season. And that's where you find a lot of your pigs. You walk in on a saline or salt lick, and they're getting all their salt. They're getting all their nutrients that they need. And it's quite nice because if the wind is good, you can sit downwind and be selective and have a look at what's going on and then make your play from there. But apart from that, it's really opportunistic. If you're not hunting in the forest itself, you're walking in the savannah and you either trailing buffalo spoor, or you hoping to run into something. That's pretty much it.
Incredible. Definitely, definitely one for the bucket list. But I'm not so sure about all those flies and mosquitoes. That I played golf yesterday. I'm an avid golfer. I enjoy my golf, and I mean we would be getting bitten alive by mosquitoes for some reason. They just love me. So maybe Central African Republic is not the country for me to be visiting.
Maybe not.
I don't know why, but for some reason they tend to they tend to hone in on me specifically, and yeah, I don't love it so much. But it sounds like an incredible journey you guys took there, and yeah, like I say, I'm really looking forward to seeing the footage and having a look at what it actually looks like on camera. I know that there's a lot that also goes behind the scenes when filming these hunts. And it's kind of your speciality is filming hunts, if I'm not correct. I
That's
know that you've got
correct. Yes. Yeah.
another company. I think it's FF Media Co.
That's
And
it.
yeah, I've always been interested about the filming of hunting because I like to be on the other side of the camera and not behind it. And I can imagine it gets frustrating sometimes running after people. With a gun in front of you, and you're having to watch them, but also watch where they're pointing their rifle half the time.
True. Watch where the leopard or the lion or the buffalo is coming from when you've got nothing but a camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The only thing you're shooting is the picture of the thing running towards you.
I tell you, a piece of metal that weighs half a kilo is not going to stop a leopard. It gets hair raising.
No chance. No chance. No
No,
chance.
yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
incredible,
no,
man.
I
No,
love it.
it's
It's awesome. It's been an
exciting.
amazing way to explore the world and pursue passion and tell people stories. And yeah, things get interesting, but a lot of the time it's nice to be in the action because I love hunting so much
Absolutely.
myself. To be able to go to Tanzania, go to CAR, and I mean, you pretty much in the hunt. The only thing you're not doing is pulling the trigger. I think I get more buck fever than some of my clients at times. It's so enjoyable. It's just missing pulling the trigger and smelling that gunpowder. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
No, that's it's exciting times. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by CC Steel Structures, the experts in everything steel. From fabrication and welding to plate work and earth moving equipment, CC Structures covers it all. No job is too big or too small for their team of highly skilled professionals. Whether you're looking to get your hands on high quality custom steel or you need reliable equipment and services for a large project, CC Structures is the name you can trust. I've personally seen their top-notch quality craftsmanship in action, both in business and in residential projects. Their attention to detail, quality materials, and superb workmanship consistently impress. And the best part? CC Structures offers free quotations so you can get started with a clear plan and no surprises. They're known for their quick delivery, professionalism, and dedication to making sure your project is completed on time and to your exact specifications. If you're in need of steel services that deliver on time, look no further. Visit www.ccsteelstructure.co.za. That's ccsteelstructure.co.za and get your free quotation today. Okay, welcome back. So, Colin, obviously, we were talking just now about the hunting season being around the corner. Have you got anything kind of lined up this season that you're looking at hunting in particular? And I know that you like bow hunting, and we're going to be having someone on the show shortly talking all about bow hunting. It's not my forte. I have shot a few bows in my time, but I certainly wouldn't be classified as a bow hunter. But I know you enjoy bow hunting quite a lot. What's your equipment look like? What are you shooting? What animals are you going after? Have you got anything kind of up your sleeve for the season in specific in mind that you're thinking about going after? What's the plan, Colin?
Yeah, mate, you hit the nail on the head. Actually, I wouldn't call myself a seasoned bow hunter by any means, but yeah, I love it. It's a way of getting a little bit closer to things and testing your limits a little bit. But this season is definitely going to be one for the books. We're looking at a fallow deer hunt. I know you and I discussed hunting in the Mankazana area near Adelaide,
Yep. Yep.
and that's a cool spot. I know you've never been, and I know we spoke about that area. But we went there last year, I think, with a couple of mates of mine from Mankazana Safaris, the Bushons. And we were a little bit early for rut. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think rut is April, May.
May, I believe.
May, yeah. So we went in April and we're a little bit early. There were a couple of stags croaking and ratting, but yeah, we didn't have much luck here. It was just a little bit too early. Have you ever hunted fed deer in the mountains?
It is on my bucket list of animals that I want to go after as a fallow deer.
Okay.
It's so much. It's I'm so desperate to go and actually hunt one, yet I've never even seen one in person. It's it's one of those things that I've been offered the opportunity to go and do it twice, and unfortunately I just couldn't get to it. And this season it's on my list. I really that is something that's been giving me the itch for quite some time. And this season I think is going to be the year that I get to go out and do it. I would love to come down your side of the world. I've only heard excellent things about the hunting down there. You know, we're hunting in a completely different environment up in the Highveld. For those
True, yeah.
who don't know, I'm up in Pretoria, but generally speaking, you know, we're going out into Limpopo, even sometimes into the likes of Botswana, cross border, and so it's different. You know, I don't want to say we're lazy, but I think we're probably lazier than you guys are down there. Um, Certainly, the bunch of guys that I tend to go with, we like to have a bit of a lie-in in the morning and have a bit of a
You
social
reckon?
leisurely breakfast, and then meander out. I don't know. I'm a little bit older than you, Colin. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning quite often, and nowadays I think I just need my sleep a little bit more. So yeah, you know, the
No,
guys who I go out with, great bunch of guys, and we always have such a great time going out together. But yeah, I think in our older age we're getting slightly lazy, and yeah, those 4 o'clock mornings are starting to become a little bit more difficult. So yeah, no, but I've always wanted to come down your side of the world and do a hunt, and I think this year I'm going to make it happen. It's
great.
it's a bucket list tick off for sure, but it certainly is not going to be with a bow, Colin. I can promise you
You,
that.
no, man, you must try. Flip, I tell you, it's challenging as hell, but it is the most rewarding thing you'll ever do in your life. I mean,
No,
I
I
think
believe so.
the first animal that I shot, I think I had 11 failed stalks before that. And within that, like 2 misses. So your success rate is minimal compared to rifle hunting, but it's rewarding. It's just difficult here where we are. I mean, flip, as you say, it's vastly different from you guys. You know, we've got obviously the crops and the lands, but the hunting areas are very thick. You know, it's a proper, we call it the Albany thicket. It's like thick stuff. And I mean, some of those valleys are vertical. So it's challenging, but it's a hell of a fun.
Yeah, no, we're slightly different. If you see a mountain where we go, it's usually very far away from where you're hunting, which is the first thing. And the the other thing is it's not so thick. Although we've had the last couple of seasons, we tend to go to one specific place which we've been going to. I've personally been going to for about 18 years,
Yeah.
and the last couple of years they've had a tremendous amount of rain up there. Again, it's towards kind of Limpopo side, Tabazimbi. And I've seen year on year, it's just the Sioko boss has just taken over, and it's become
Really?
it's become really quite challenging hunting. Beforehand, where you take a walk, and within kind of half an hour, 45 minutes, you would have at least seen something. Whether it was what you were looking for is neither here nor there. You definitely would have at least seen something, and now it's become extremely difficult. If you're not on the roads, or you don't get a good clearing, you're not seeing
Yeah.
much. And I think this year we've had some record rainfall. Certainly where I stay in Pretoria, we've had record rainfall, and I believe the guys up there have also had some serious amount of rain. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going up there in 2 weeks. Really looking forward to it. Just to see kind of the landscape again, because every year I go up there, it's just getting more and more challenging. But a different type of challenge to
Gotcha.
what you guys are used to.
Yeah, no, I mean, Flip, as you speak about rain, there must be something in the air because I think everyone's had great rain. I was playing cricket with a couple of mates from KZN. One of the guys we'll actually have on the podcast, Adrian Salter. He runs leopard hounds all throughout Southern Africa. While we were playing cricket, they were getting messages on their rainfall group saying, like 97 mils in the one spot overnight. And then East London, a mate of mine, Vic Krill, he runs Kikiaba hunting safaris. They had like 150 mils in 2 nights. So his roads, he had to redo most of his roads. So there's been great rain all around, which is, I mean, it sets us up for a good hunting season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it certainly helps the animals for sure. Don't know how
Yeah.
much it helps us, but I'm sure. I've got some friends who are farmers, but they're agricultural farmers. They're not necessarily hunting type of farmers,
Okay, yeah.
and they when we get the type of rain that we've had this year, they're just elated. It's fantastic for the farmers, and it's great for the country as well. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a challenge to see what it looks like up there, as always. But I'm dead set on coming down to you,
Oh,
and I
you
want to
must.
hunt a fallow deer. That is, it's on my bucket list. So it's going to be good. It's going
Man.
to be good.
A stag is
Absolutely.
on my
So
bucket list as well. I still haven't got myself a stag.
see, I
I've
I
hunted.
grew up in I grew up. I grew up in the UK, and when I was very young, and that's where I first started hunting. We weren't hunting the type of things that we're hunting today, but we grew up with stag, red deer, roe deer, muntjac, all of those types of things. And so,
That's
whilst I
cool, eh?
did the majority of my hunting in South Africa as a young teen, or late teen, early adolescence up to now, um, I've been fortunate to be able to also hunt some species outside of the continent, which has been great.
That's awesome. There's definitely a couple of bucket lists for me. I mean, I've been up to Namibia a few times and haven't quite had the opportunity to hunt there yet. But we going now in a couple of months' time, hopefully up to Namibia. So yeah, we'll see how we go there. That'll be fun. Take the bow up,
Yeah,
take the old no cam up, my old bow, and we'll see what we can find. I mean, Flip, it'll be good fun.
yeah. No, Namibia is also another place. That is different type of hunting out there. You've got
It
you've
is.
got the
It is.
you've got the dunes and the heat and the sand, and yeah, the oryx, I think, is their main kind of, let's say, hunting attraction, and they get some monsters out there. I know.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got
I mean,
some
you get
got some I got some friends up there who have got some incredible stories about
no,
uh,
there's some
about
incredible
lep-
animals there. I
leopard
mean,
leopard leopard and oryx.
yes, true. Yeah, leopard, oryx, and kudu. I've never seen bigger kudu in my life. up there. We saw like a 4 or 5 year old bull that was pushing mid 50 inches. It's incredible. The genetics, I don't know what what they inject them with there, what they eat there, but it is crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely one for the books. Colin, it's been great. The first podcast. I'm looking forward to the next one. We've got an exciting guest joining us, and yeah, we're going to try and get them on in the next couple of days, and look forward to sending out the next bit of content.
No, 100%. It's been great. I think the future is bright, and I'm so glad to hear that people are invested. I know lots of people are going to enjoy this introduction episode and all the incredible guests that we've got lined up, because there's some really, really incredible characters with some cool stories to tell and lots of knowledge to share. So, yeah, I'm super keen.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.